Hello, I'm Jon LaLanne and I'm the owner and shaper of LaLanne Surfboards, and today I want to talk about fins. The fin is probably, a lot of shapers say, and it's been going around, that the fin is probably about 20% of the board, 30% of the board. Well, I'm going to rebut that right now because I believe that the fin is about 50% of the board. Because let's put this scenario into effect. You've got a surfboard. It's a great surfboard, and you've got fins that aren't the right fins for the board. Is the board going to behave how it's supposed to? No. Ergo, that's going to mean that the board's not working properly. That's a big 50% to me. So right now, I'm going to go and give you my philosophy on how to pick a fin. It's not brain surgery. A lot of my customers tell me, oh, well, I don't know anything about this stuff. And when I started messing with fins back when FCS first came out, nobody knew anything about fins, nor did I. So what I'm going to tell you today is how I got to understand how fins make the board behave, how to pick fins, and we're going to see the difference in fins. So the first fin I'm going to start with is a very basic fin, and it's called the K3. A lot of you have this fin on your surfboards, and we are using FCS, and there is future and there is four-way fin systems, but today we're using FCS. First thing we're going to discuss is the rake of the fin, or the sweep. And it's how much the fin goes back. Well, if you can imagine this turning in the water, the more the fin turns back, the more resistance you're going to have in your turn, and it's going to draw the board out. You're not going to get as tight of a turn, but you're going to get a very stiff feel and a lot of drive with a big rake. Now, another fin I like to use is a DHD2. If you notice, the DHD2 is a little straighter up and down as opposed to the K-fin. So the advantage of this is when you're coming off the top, you're going to get a pivot effect. So this isn't sweeping back as much, it's going straight up, so to speak. So when you want to find out what fin to use and the fin that you're using already, put them up to each other. You know, and you can see right there that the sweep of the K-fin goes back more than the sweep of the DHD, which I just discussed. So you're going to get a more straighter up and down pivotal effect from a DHD than you will with the K-fin. So the sweep is very important. There's another factor of fins that comes into play too. And this is beyond your control, but it's something that you need to take heed of. It's called the cant. And the fins lay over on the board. Now, the more the fins lay over, the looser the board's going to be. But then again, the more fin is going to be in the water, and we'll get to that in a second. Now, when the fins are straight up and down on your surfboards, we're talking about the side fins, that's going to give you a tremendous amount of drive, because them being up and down is going to have the whole face of the fin in the water. And then when they get laid over, that's going to loosen the board up, and this is a great way to have your fins. You don't want too straight up and down, and you don't want too laid over, so somewhere in between. Now, on certain boards, if you have a lot of tail rocker in the board, which is going to decrease your speed, you may want your fins tilted a little bit more straight up and down. And if you have a flatter rocker, a flatter tail rocker, laying your fins over a little bit will help loosen the board up. So this is another thing to think about. Also, the other thing is called toe. The fins come in, as you noticed on your board, and that makes a huge difference too. On some boards, the shaper will put the dots straight up and along the stringer, and you're going to get a lot of drive like this. When they're towed in, it's going to loosen the board up, but it's going to decrease your speed. So all of this is a give and take. So once again, there is the sweep, there's the cant, and the toe. So how I get my fins going is that when I'm in the store, I go, well, you know what, I've been riding the AM2 fin, and I really like the fin, but I noticed that the K3s are looking pretty cool too. And so I kind of just go in and I see the fin I'm riding, and I put the other fin up to it, and I go, well, you know, this is almost kind of along the lines of this fin, yet it's got a little less area in it. Maybe it'll loosen my board up. I'm going to give this fin a try. So when you go and buy fins, you want to make sure you bring the fin into the store that you're riding. And, you know, this is another cheap way to get more out of your quiver. It's like having another surfboard for a fraction of the price. You can't have enough fins in my opinion, and also you're gonna really have a good time switching them out, playing with them, playing with the combinations. If you look at the K-fin, really neat concept. The two side fins are real big, right? And then the back fin's a little smaller. So it kind of loosens the board up and makes it more of a twin finny effect. That's how Kelly gets those real tight, loose turns. If you notice though, the back fin has a lot of sweep to it. So since the fin is shorter, we've kind of compensated with the fin being so short, giving a little bit more sweep to compensate for the shortness of the fin. So I really like these fins a lot. They're very good all-around fin. If you're a bigger guy or you have a board with a lot of volume in it, the DHD2 fins work really well. Very straight up and down pivotal fin. And also, you know, you buy a bunch of fins, you switch them up, swap them up, and you find out what works for you. Not what works for Kelly Slater, not what works for Andy Irons, not what works for any pros, but for you. Surfing is one of the most personal sports in the world, and you have to play by your rules because you can't surf Kelly Slater's board. You can't surf Taj Burrow's board. Only they can. They get boards customized to them. You should get them customized to you. I hope this helped you out. Once again, I'm Jon LaLanne.